Hello and welcome to Amy's Haven. This is a TGIF video in which I will share with you some of the things that I'm doing to prepare for the Sabbath this weekend. So as usual, I grab my diary and pull out all of the activities that I need to do and write out my list and add a few more to the diary. I have a really lovely big diary and it has lots of room, so I can put all my to-do lists in here. So I have for today, I tend to overdo it when creating my to-do list. That's just me, and I have come to realize that I don't necessarily complete everything on my list, so I can then at the end of the week just look at my list, see what I haven't done, and stick it on the next list. Today I have make a video for my first communion class, tidy the living room in preparation for decorating for Christmas, for Advent. Advent starts for everybody else this Sunday. We've been honoring the Celtic Advent since the 15th of November now, so that's been a couple weeks, so we'll the rest of the world will catch up with us, and now we're going to really start decorating the house for Christmas. I'm so excited, and I've started playing Christmas music already. Well, instrumental Christmas music. What else do I have? So I have ordered library books next week. The mobile library comes to my village, and so we can order a kind of click and collect service where I order 5 or 10 toddler books for childminding. I just say, give me a few board books, give me a few picture books, and they just surprise me each month. And then you can also order whatever books you want. We're not allowed to go into the library and select our own books, but we're allowed to order online and then have them delivered to the library of our choice or to the mobile library, since I happen to use that one. So order library books, that would be good. I think I ought to get some Christmassy novels and see what I can get for the kids as well. I've actually really had a very slow morning. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a lot of the things on my list today. I guess it's just that time of year where I tend to slow down. It's grey, it's cold. I'm in my nice, warm, comfy clothes because I don't have any errands to do today. Yay! But on the other hand, it can make for a much slower day for me. And for instance, this morning, I've been just hanging out. I've been making some craft projects. I've been doing some beading, making some things. This just as I watch YouTube videos. These are fobs to put onto scissors or what have you, and just been playing around with that. I've been watching YouTube videos. I've been watching FlossTube, Jean Farish Needleworks, who does she's a great teacher, so she does really nice tutorials, and it sort of goes back to the beginning just to refresh everything you need to know, or if you've never done it before. So I've been watching Jean Farish this morning. I watched Hermione Chantal, who did really lovely Christmas decorations that she made with things from Poundland. And I don't really anticipate going out to the shop soon or to Poundland, but I actually found the activities inspiring. So if I ever get out there, there are a couple of items in her video this morning that I think I'd like to copy. What else have I done? I've been watching some of the Matthew McConaughey. All this week I've been watching a lot of Stephen Colbert and Trevor Noah. It's just trying times, and I just find that they're a really great way to get my news and have a bit of a chuckle as well. And well, it's been Thanksgiving as well, so we had a very quiet Thanksgiving here, as I'm sure everybody has had all over the US and elsewhere where people celebrate. I was working all day. I had a 12-hour work day, but I work from home, and it just was again one of those sort of cold and dreary days, and I was caught up with what I was doing, and so I haven't even made a pumpkin pie, but I might do some pumpkin muffins, because I made some pumpkin muffins a few days ago with my daughter, and we ate them really quickly. And so yeah, I froze some, and we ate the rest of them really quickly. So I thought, well, maybe instead of pie, they would prefer some muffins. They're not big pumpkin pie fans, unfortunately, even though it's probably my favorite dessert of the whole year. So we might do that later if I can fit that in. I'd like to do pumpkin muffins, tidy the living room to get ready for decorating. And what else? Oh, I'd like to dismantle the tortoise cage. So the tortoise is in stages getting ready for hibernation, and I can take the tortoise cage out of the living room. It's a big task, and clean it up. I'm going to store it in the shed for the month or so. He'll be hibernating. And then I'd like to try to move it, to have it upstairs, in the hallway upstairs, a new location. So I'm going to look at that. Some laundry, what else? And think about how I'm going to do an Advent wreath this year. Whether I'm going to do an Advent wreath. Sometimes I make one on a plate with various candles and decorations. I'm going to think about that as well. So those are my tasks for today. I have been tootling along using my Celtic Advent devotional by David Cole, 40 Days of Devotions for Christmas, and enjoying that with my needle tatting bookmark that I made a little while ago. You can see that in some of my other videos. And recording my thoughts in my journal. I found this week so much to write down. I set aside a page a day for this journal, because that's how many pages I have to do Christmas and Advent, Christmas, and through to Candlemas in February. So that's how many pages I have in the book. So I've been using my journal quite a lot as well, which is just my ordinary journal, just filling that up. I feel like it's been an ideas week. I'm an ideas person. I'm much more into creating lots of ideas and writing lists and doing drawings than actually accomplishing all the things that I have set out for myself. But it's been a really good week for that, actually. So I have some inspiration that I have been working with that I can share with you. When the world is very busy and stressed, I retreat. I retreat to my books, my crafts, prayer life. I could quickly fall out of balance using these, because I go for escapism, and instead of just a small respite for each day, doing an hour of this or an hour of that, I end up doing a bit of a hermit, and I cower away with my books, and I end up stuck in for hours or days. My energy gets lower, and I don't know whether I have low energy and then do these activities, or whether doing them gets me to relax more and more and more and more. And while I think there are many, many benefits to, obviously, to prayer and to reading and to crafts, I think it's important to balance, especially because as I have been doing lots of crochet and lots of cross stitch in the last month, the dishes pile up. Even the clean laundry has been piling up instead of my putting it away. And meals get haphazard. I stay up late because I want to read a bit more or to stitch a bit more. And then I'm just out of balance. So to counteract this tendency of mine to get stuck in too much, I try to insert a bit of a routine. And it's one of the reasons why I was attracted to the Fly Lady system, is that it uses just quick morning routine, evening routine, so that you just do those things automatically. So you check them off your list and then you can carry on with the rest of your day. And then at the end of the day, you stop and then do your evening routine. So at the very least, you've done XYZ off your list so that you can have some sort of sense of order, even if you don't necessarily have a clean house. So in those types of times when you're really busy or ill or what have you, it's nice to be able to just use these routines to just at least get a few things done, so that you have a clean bathroom, you have a clean kitchen sink. Okay. So to try to insert some routine into my life, I use a few methods. One is trying to use the Fly Lady system, and parts of it work really well for this. And the second is to set an alarm on my phone. So last week I broke down, set my alarm on my phone for every day at 7 o'clock. And it says kitchen. And it means I need to stop what I'm doing and go to the kitchen and do the dishes if there are any left. And I can tidy up the counters or whatever needs to be done in the kitchen. I can prepare something for tomorrow or get the overnight oats prepared or whatever I like to do. And then a few days into that, I decided to set a second alarm, and it's at 7:30 p.m. And that tells me to stop doing something in the kitchen and go back to doing something fun for myself before I need to get going with getting the kids to bed and bedtime routines and all of that kind of thing. So those two things work really well for actually doing things in the house, doing some chores, just getting the coffee table cleared off and put to bed so that I can go to bed. But the third thing that I feel is really helpful, and that is for my prayer life. Now, I often wake up early so that I make sure that I wake up before the kids and before I start work and have time simply to do what I want for myself, which is drink some coffee, decaf coffee, do some prayer, do some reading, do some journaling, do some drawing, anything that I'd like to do just to kind of connect to spirit, reset for the morning, and then I'm ready to start the day. So what happens is, though that part is quite easy, during the rest of the day, it might be harder to remember to pray. And I think that it can be a very useful tool to help set a rhythm for the day, to set a rhythm of prayer. And in the evening, I might do some prayers and journaling and things before bed. And I often do this particular devotional I do in the evenings, because the Celtic Advent begins in the evening on the 15th of November. It seems quite natural to do this every evening. So that's just during Advent, and it happens to be during Lent as well. I do the same thing. But throughout the day, I find it really helpful to use the Divine Office. So the set prayers, I use it on my phone. I have the app called Divine Office. There are other apps like the Laudate app has the Divine Office, the daily readings as well. But the reason why I like the Divine Office app itself is because it's one app that does this one thing, which is every day tells you the readings. And you can set the reminders on it. So it will tell you when you can either set the reminders how they want it set, which is at sunrise and at 9 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, then sunset, and then evening. Or you can change the time to set it yourself. So, for instance, the evening prayer is the night prayer is at 10 o'clock, and I prefer to do it at 9 o'clock, which is actually quite common. A lot of people do the evening prayer at 9 o'clock. So that allows me to set the timers for the day, and my phone will just go and then I can stop what I'm doing for a moment and then pick up my phone and read the readings for that time. And the other beauty of the app is that they have said them all, and if there are hymns, they will sing the hymns. So you have it sung and read to you. So you can listen it as well. You can read it or you can listen to it. And I find that really helpful, because sometimes if you're listening to it, you can see, well, just how the whole world is praying. We are praying without ceasing. The church is praying without ceasing, and this is part of our task, is to keep praying. And when you're listening to this together, you realize how many people around the world are praying, and in all their different time zones, then therefore at different times. It's a beautiful thing. I find it, some days I might need to turn off the reminders for some of the hours, or just let them go and not read it because I might be busy or out or something like that. But most of the time, I can actually stop for the few minutes it would take to read. That's because I work from home, granted. But I think on the days that I do this, sometimes I find it a trial, and sometimes I just find it inspiring, and sometimes I feel like, oh, what am I doing this for? But once you get into the rhythm of it, after a few days, it really sinks in and it really feels nice. And I think that it's something worth trying, even if you decide to simply do it one day a week, or each of the morning daily readings. So if you do the daily readings every morning, it's really worth it. I'm going to share with you now some of the readings that I found yesterday and today, just snippets to help inspire you for this weekend, and you can write in your journal or meditate on. And later on, I'll share some music and photos for you to, again, meditate on, or take out your diary, start planning, get out your to-do list, see what kinds of errands and things you need to do today in order to prepare for the Sabbath and make it a restful time, a family time, a blessed time. From the Divine Office on Thanksgiving. In the early hours of the morning, I think of you, O Lord. More precious than gold and silver, Lord, is the way of life you teach us. From Galatians 5:13 through 14. My brothers, remember that you have been called to live in freedom, but not a freedom that gives free rein to the flesh. Out of love, place yourselves at one another's service. The whole law has found its fulfillment in this one saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And this is from the second letter of Peter. This is just part of the reading. All of these are parts of the reading from the Divine Office. This is from today. In the Lord's eyes, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are as a day. The Lord does not delay in keeping his promise, though some consider it delay. Rather, he shows you generous patience, since he wants none to perish, but all to come to repentance. The day of the Lord will come like a thief, and on that day the heavens will vanish with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and all its deeds will be made manifest. And also from today, Psalm 51. A pure heart create for me, O God. Put a steadfast spirit within me.